Hello there. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stood up from your favorite chair and felt like your hips were just stuck? Like they needed a good oiling, the way an old door hinge creaks if it's been sitting too long? Or maybe you've noticed it's a little harder these days to take those long walks you used to love, or even bend down to tie your shoes without feeling a twinge in your back. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And here's the good news. There's one simple thing you can do every day to help ease that stiffness, keep you moving freely, and maybe even bring back a little of that spring in your step. Today, we're talking about a muscle that's critical for staying mobile and pain-free as we age, especially after 70. It's a muscle you might not even think about, but it's working hard for you every time you stand up, walk, or even sit down. I'm talking about your hip flexors. Now, stick with me here. This isn't some complicated anatomy lesson. Think of your hip flexors as the body's natural mobility engine. They're the muscles that connect your legs to your torso, right here in the front of your hips. And if they get tight or weak, which happens to so many of us as we get older, they can pull your whole body out of alignment, leading to back pain, stiff knees, and that feeling like you're shuffling instead of striding. But here's the thing. Just a few minutes of gentle stretching each day can make a world of difference. And I'm not talking about anything strenuous or exhausting. These are simple, safe movements you can do right at home, even if you're not as flexible as you used to be. In fact, let's start with one of my favorite stretches, something you can try right now, even while sitting down. First, let's get comfortable. If you're able, sit toward the edge of a sturdy chair. Nothing too soft, so you can keep your posture nice and tall. Now, slide one foot back a little, just a few inches behind you, keeping that knee bent. The other foot stays flat on the floor, right under your knee. Gently tilt your pelvis forward, like you're trying to tuck your tailbone under you. You should feel a gentle pull along the front of that back hip. Hold that for 20 to 30 seconds, breathing deeply. That's your hip flexor, getting a little love. Now, switch sides. Easy, right? But here's why this matters. When your hip flexors are tight, they tug on your lower back, throwing your whole posture off balance. That's why so many folks end up leaning forward when they walk or struggle with lower back pain. By stretching these muscles daily, you're giving your body a chance to realign itself, taking pressure off your joints and spine. Now, let's try a standing version for those of you who feel steady on your feet. Hold on to a countertop or the back of a chair for support. Take a small step forward with one foot, keeping that knee bent. Now, gently shift your weight forward until you feel that same stretch in the front of your opposite hip. Keep your chest lifted and avoid arching your back. This isn't about how far you can lunge, just a gentle release. Again, hold for 20 to 30 seconds, then switch legs. You might be thinking, that's it? Just 2 stretches? And yes. Consistency is key here. It's not about pushing yourself to the limit. It's about showing up for your body every single day, even for just a few minutes. Think of it like watering a plant. A little care each day keeps it thriving. Now, before we move on, let's talk about why these muscles get so tight in the first place. For many of us, it's simply a matter of how we spend our days. Sitting for long periods, whether at the kitchen table in front of the TV or reading a good book, shortens those hip flexors over time. Add in the natural loss of muscle elasticity that comes with age, and suddenly, those muscles aren't just tight. They're practically glued in place. But the beautiful thing about the body is that it's never too late to make a change. Even small daily efforts can help loosen things up and restore your range of motion. So, let's keep that momentum going. In the next part, we'll explore a few more stretches, including one you can do lying down, and talk about how to pair these movements with everyday habits to keep your hips happy and your walks pain-free. Trust me, by the time we're done, you'll have everything you need to build a simple, effective routine that fits right into your day. Let's keep moving forward, literally. Now, let's settle into a stretch that's perfect for anyone who wants to give their hips a little extra TLC without even standing up. This one's done lying down. Ideal if you've got a yoga mat, a firm bed, or even a carpeted floor. If getting down to the ground feels challenging, don't worry. I'll share a modified version in just a moment. But first, let's get cozy. Lie flat on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart. Now gently bring one knee toward your chest, holding it with both hands. Keep the other foot planted firmly on the floor. You'll already feel a nice stretch in your lower back and the front of your hip on that straight leg. But here's where we zero in on the hip flexor. Slowly straighten the leg that's on the floor, sliding it out until it's fully extended. Keep your lower back pressed gently into the surface beneath you. No arching. Hold this for 20 to 30 seconds, breathing deeply. Then switch sides. If getting up and down from the floor isn't your favorite activity these days, let's adapt this. Sit tall in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor. Extend one leg straight out in front of you, heel on the ground, toes pointing up. Now, gently lean back just an inch or two. Imagine you're trying to press your lower back into the chair. You'll feel that same stretch along the front of your hip and thigh. Hold, breathe, and switch. The beauty here? You're still targeting those hip flexors, just in a way that works for your body. Now, let's talk about when to do these stretches. Timing can make all the difference. For instance, try pairing them with activities you already do every day. Finished your morning coffee. That's a great moment to stretch your hips before tackling the day. Watching the evening news? Use the commercial breaks as a reminder to stand up and do that standing lunge we covered earlier. The key is to weave these movements into your routine so they become as automatic as brushing your teeth. And here's a tip you might not expect. How you sit matters just as much as how often you stretch. Ever notice how after sitting in a recliner or soft couch for a while, your hips feel even stiffer? That's because deep cushioned seats let your hips sink into a bent position, shortening those flexors over time. Try swapping out the recliner for a firmer chair with good back support now and then. Or simply place a small pillow behind your lower back to keep your spine aligned. When you sit, aim to have your knees slightly lower than your hips. This simple adjustment takes pressure off your hip flexors and encourages a more neutral posture. But let's get real. Life isn't just about sitting and stretching. What about those everyday moments when your hips need to work? Think about getting in and out of the car. How many times have you groaned doing that? Here's a trick. Before you swing your legs into the car, take a second to stand tall. Place both hands on the roof for support and gently shift your weight from side to side. This wakes up those hip muscles and primes them for action. When you sit down, pivot your entire body at the hips, not just your knees, to avoid twisting awkwardly. Little tweaks like this protect your hips and keep them moving smoothly. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, what if I've already got stiffness or pain? Is it too late? Absolutely not. In fact, gentle movement is often the best medicine. Start with shorter holds, 10 seconds instead of 30, and gradually build up as your muscles begin to relax. Listen to your body. A mild tugging sensation is normal. Sharp pain is not. And if balance is a concern, always keep a chair, countertop, or wall within reach. There's no prize for doing this without support, only the reward of staying safe and steady. Speaking of safety, let's address something important. Hydration. Your muscles are like sponges. They need water to stay supple. When you're dehydrated, muscles become more prone to cramping and stiffness. So, sip water throughout the day, especially before and after stretching. Pair that with a balanced diet, rich in magnesium. Think leafy greens, nuts, or even a square of dark chocolate. And you're giving your muscles the nutrients they need to stay flexible. Now, let's circle back to consistency. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Missed a day? No guilt. Just start fresh the next morning. Remember, every small effort adds up. Imagine your hip flexors as a garden. A little daily care keeps the weeds of stiffness from taking over. By now, you've got a toolkit of stretches and strategies to keep those hips happy. But there's one more piece to the puzzle. A simple practice that can amplify all the work you're doing. It's all about how you move through your day, not just during exercise. So, let's take these lessons and build them into a full routine that keeps you agile, energized, and ready to embrace whatever the day brings. Let's talk about walking, not just as a way to get from point A to point B, but as a practice. You see, every step you take is a chance to engage those hip flexors mindfully. Think about it. When you walk, your hips are the bridge between your legs and your torso, powering you forward. But if they're tight or weak, that stride can become a shuffle. So, here's a simple trick to turn your daily walk into a hip flexor tune-up. As you take a step, imagine you're gently lifting your knee from your hip, not just dragging your leg forward. Keep your posture tall, chin parallel to the ground, shoulders relaxed. Swing your arms naturally, letting that motion help propel you. And here's the key. Take slightly shorter strides than you might be used to. Overstriding can actually tighten those hip flexors, while smaller, deliberate steps keep the movement smooth and controlled. Try this for just 5 minutes a day, during a stroll around the garden, a trip to the mailbox, or even pacing your living room. Over time, you'll notice your hips feeling looser and your walks more enjoyable. Now, let's address a question I hear often. What if I've been inactive for a while? Can I still benefit from these stretches? The answer is a resounding yes. Start wherever you are. If standing stretches feel too challenging, stick with the seated or lying down versions. If 5 minutes a day is all you can manage, that's 5 minutes well spent. Progress isn't about leaps and bounds. It's about showing up, day after day, and honoring where your body is today. Here's another game changer. Pairing your stretches with deep breathing. When you hold a stretch, inhale slowly through your nose, letting your belly rise. Then, exhale fully through your mouth. This does two things. First, it oxygenates your muscles, helping them relax into the stretch. Second, it keeps your mind focused and calm, turning your routine into a moment of self-care. Think of it as a mini meditation for your hips and your whole being. But let's not forget about strength. Stretching is vital, but so is keeping those muscles active. Try this simple exercise. Sit tall in a chair, feet flat on the floor. Slowly lift one knee toward your chest, just a few inches, then lower it back down. Repeat 5 to 10 times per side. This gentle motion builds strength in your hip flexors without strain. You can even do it while watching TV or waiting for the kettle to boil. Now, I want to share a story about a friend of mine, Martha. She's 78 and swore she'd never do exercises. But after her grandkids started calling her slowpoke, she decided to try these stretches, mostly to prove me wrong, she'll tell you. Within a few weeks, she noticed she could bend down to tie her shoes without holding on to the couch. Then, she started adding short walks around her neighborhood. Last month, she joined a beginner's Tai Chi class. Martha's not winning any marathons, but she's living life on her terms, and that's what this is all about. So, let's tie it all together. Daily hip flexor stretches, mindful movement, hydration, and a dash of strength work. These are the ingredients for staying mobile and pain-free. But the real secret? Listening to your body. Some days, you'll feel limber and energized. Other days, you might need to take it slower. That's okay. Your body isn't a machine. It's a lifelong companion that deserves kindness and patience. As we wrap up, I want you to picture something. Imagine your favorite activity, maybe gardening, dancing, playing with grandkids, or simply enjoying a sunrise walk. These stretches aren't just about avoiding pain. They're about preserving the moments that make life rich and joyful. Every time you care for your hips, you're investing in your freedom to live fully, on your own terms. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one thing you're excited to do now that you've got these tools in your pocket? Your stories inspire all of us here. And if you found this helpful, give the video a thumbs up. It helps others find this information too. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss a video. We're all in this together, figuring out how to age gracefully, one stretch at a time. Remember, age is just a number, but mobility is a gift, one you can keep giving yourself every single day. Here's to bending, reaching, walking, and laughing without limits. Thanks for being here, and keep shining.